I'm Rosalind Carita, and today I'm at the Customs House Museum. And I know you say museum, and you see all these little puppets, but yes, this is the Customs House Museum, and they have a little bit of everything. I'm in the gift shop. I'm going to take you through the gift shop today, and then we're going to go and take a look at the permanent collections that are here all day, every day, anytime that you wanted to come to the Customs House Museum. Stay with us.
Will you become a guardian angel? The Humane Society has been saving lives and helping families since 1968. We are an independently operated nonprofit organization, and the strength of our programs rely solely on donations and grants. Your donation will allow us to save animals from the local county shelter, as well as provide low-cost spay-neuter vouchers and more. All of our programs are geared toward providing families with options that prevent them from surrendering personal or found pets, which might otherwise be euthanized at a shelter. Please be a guardian angel today.
Today I'm here with Terry Jordan, and we all know that she is the curator. But today she is the model for a piece of jewelry. Lots of jewelry here at the Customs House. So tell us what you have on.
Right, we are in Seasons, the museum gift shop, and one of the things that we pride ourselves on is that we have a lot of work by Tennessee artisans. And this is a beautiful example of art and functional art and jewelry. And this was done by Marie Young, and it's technically recycled products. And she makes these great pieces out of copper and silver, and they are perfect for all these upcoming Easters and Mother's Days and graduations and just because presents.
Well, and that's very unusual. And you said she was from Dover.
Right.
I love that. Now, that's a perfect example of the kind of jewelry that they have here. I mean, we're really heavy on Tennessee and Clarksville artists. So tell us about this.
We also have Heidi Welch, who is a local jewelry designer. And you know, the great stuff, again, refurbished, recycled pieces that she puts within her art. And every piece is different. So if you want a one-of-a-kind piece of jewelry, we've got great pieces here, and it supports local artisans in our community.
And I think that that really is, you know, if you want a one-of-a-kind gift, you cannot beat going to the Customs House, because you all do. I mean, these are unique items. This is not a big chain.
That's right, and they are unique items and all different price points, so somebody can find something for anything. We have some beautiful rings for $10, and you've got a $100 necklace, so it's everywhere in between.
These are beautiful. Okay, so Heidi Welch, did you say she was from
She's
Clarksville?
Local, yes.
Okay. Tell us, these are all her pieces here?
Correct.
Okay. Show us some other local artists. Doesn't necessarily have to be jewelry,
Right,
but
I'm going to show you one of our favorites, and that's Tom Rice.
and everybody knows Tom Rice.
Everybody knows Tom. He was an art teacher here in Clarksville. He lives down in the Franklin area now. And we are getting ready, working on a retrospective of his art for 2014.
When you say retrospective, tell us what that means.
A retrospective is kind of a collection and story of their whole entire art career.
So from when he first started.
Right, this will go back to college days. And we're very excited because he's been doing a lot of new pieces, and I think that's been inspired by bringing out all the old pieces and getting refamiliar with them. And this little bird is actually reminiscent of the pieces he started doing in college in the early 70s.
Very different from what we think of.
This is kind of what he's known for.
Right, this is what we think of as his art.
And so now we're going back to some retrospective pieces, a little more of these older, taller pieces with a little more texture, and very excited about a whole new area for him. And that's these beautiful trays that are decorative, and you can also use them. And they're great centerpieces for a table, but you could put fruit or something on them too.
That is beautiful and very different. I mean, this looks like a pool of water.
It does, with a little bit of ice.
It does. That's beautiful. And I see the little frog here.
Right.
And so all Tom Rice, local, used to teach at Austin P.
He taught high school. He actually taught high school.
Oh, at high school, okay.
He studied at Austin P, and he studied under Olin Bryant, who everyone knows.
Everyone knows Olin Bryant. Those are beautiful. And I couldn't help but notice these pieces over here,
Yes.
because these are so whimsical,
They
so
are,
clever.
and again, playing on the recycled, but these are not done by local artists, but they are just fun, silly pieces. And very folk artish. We've talked about
They
folk
are
art in the
folk.
past. They have that whole flair.
Beautiful. I love those. They're so funny. And now, who do we have here?
This is Lauren Martin, and I believe she is from Austin P also. She studied at Austin P. And what I love about her work are the colors and then the earthy artistic impressions she puts on them.
Mm-hmm. These are beautiful. So she is at Austin P now?
I believe she studied there.
Okay. Beautiful. And we've got not just jewelry, but these are pretty clever.
These have been very popular. This is a really great trend going on. So that, yeah, it's not just jewelry. We have, again, some more wearable art.
And then these are beautiful pieces right here.
Yes, and she is from Nashville, and they're also very whimsical. And I think, do we have some hanging? We used to have them hanging too. Yeah, right here.
They're right here. Those are beautiful.
Mm-hmm. We have some artistic pieces. These are local photographers.
Okay.
And we have
These
a
are
lot of
beautiful.
work by cards from local photographers. So it's a quick and easy memento for people to take home.
Beautiful. I mean, you've got...
You could frame them, you really...
Yes, you could frame these. These are beautiful. And this is something that if you wanted a very unique Tennessee memento, what could be better than a guitar?
That's right. And we also have something new for us. We have some large magnets that feature Clarksville.
I want to come over here and take a look at our good friend Tiggy. We usually always try to come in and see this little guy. Looks like he has the world's best cage. And how old is Tiggy now?
Tiggy's about 9, and the iguanas will usually live to about 16 or 17 years old. So
okay, so we're middle-aged.
She's a middle-aged iguana.
And take home your own Tiggy ornament. Now, we talked about unique. What could be more unique than this? That was very clever.
That's true.
Oh, and so you have some other pieces.
Right, we have some Customs House Museum magnets.
Oh, here's the magnets right here.
And these are very popular with a lot of our tour groups that come through here.
And so we have on the magnets, of course, we have Tiggy.
We, of course, had to have Tiggy.
And then the outside of the Customs House.
Right.
These are very nice. So this is kind of a new...
That is a new thing that we've been doing, and they've gone over very well.
I'm sure they have. So is the gift shop open the same hours?
It is.
Okay, so what hours would the gift
They're
shop
open
be?
10 to 5.
And that is?
And then Sundays 1 to 5.
Sundays 1 to 5.
And then Tuesday through Saturday 10 to 5.
Okay, so this is the Seasons gift shop. And now we're going to go and show you some of the permanent exhibits that we have all the time at the Customs House. We are standing in a very unique part of the Customs House Museum. We're obviously in the very old part. And Terry, tell us about this area and this collection. It's unique.
It is. We actually have one of the largest collections of beam porcelain in the Southeast.
Now, when you say beam porcelain, tell
Right.
us what that means.
Edward Beam was an avid naturalist, and he loved birds and he loved flowers and everything he could find in nature. And in the mid-1800s, he studied the European techniques of creating porcelain and developed into creating all of these things. He actually started an atrium of his own and started breeding back birds that were going extinct even, so that he could live with them and see them in their environment and study them and their movements and their appearances. And from that created all these beautiful pieces.
So he was a naturalist in that he genuinely loved the birds
Right.
and the flowers.
He's somewhat of a conservationist, I guess you would say.
Mid-1800s.
Right.
So these, not only are they beautiful, but these are really old.
Right. Well, some of them are. These are more from the his factory and that, and he did some of them.
Okay.
But they were producing the beams through probably the 70s.
Okay, so he produced the porcelain
Right.
not in a little one-on-one kind of thing. He produced them in a factory.
Well, he started making molds and that himself.
Okay,
And eventually it grew and it grew and it grew as they became more popular. Kind of like now you have contemporary artists who have 18 assistants, some of which do the renderings on the computers and all that. So the artist isn't doing all the work themselves in some instances.
You teach us something every time.
See, that's what we try to do.
Well, tell us whose idea was.
This developed through our dear friends, Fred and Judy Landis. They're dear friends of the museum, people from this community, and
Fred and Judy Landis are so generous and so kind.
They are. We adore them.
They are wonderful people. This is such a tribute. Now, didn't you tell me that it was Judy's cousin,
Lucy Dunwoody,
okay,
who loved these types of things, and when she died, she left some money, and that was used to start this collection, and it kind of grew and grew and grew.
And still grows.
And yes, and you'll see that lots of sponsorship and on some of these pieces.
And when you say sponsorship, what does that mean? It means somebody purchased
Somebody
it?
has donated the money to purchase that piece.
Okay,
for the collection.
This particular one was donated by Pastor Jimmy and Mrs. Cervella Terry. And we all know Pastor Terry and his wonderful wife. So many of these, I see the names. So if you wanted to purchase a piece,
we do have a few that are still available for adoption, if you will.
These are beautiful, and I know that you have some that are newly donated, and you have them. How many pieces do we have in this room?
Oh my gosh, we actually thinned them out so you could see them a little better. I think there's probably about 60. Maybe.
What is in the total collection?
I think it's around 122, give or take.
Could we see some of the newest pieces?
We can, and you'll notice you can kind of tell the older ones from the colorations, and you can see how the colorations changed over the years.
What tells you that it's an older piece?
You'll see how it's a little more matte in the coloring, some of them, and then some of the newer pieces are a little more realistic to me and a little more lively.
So maybe they used a different kind of paint?
Right, just as things change over the years and colors that are popular at different time periods.
Okay, and so it's largely birds, but also flowers.
Our collection is mainly birds and flowers, although he did do chipmunks, squirrels, that kind of thing also.
These are so beautiful. I mean, you could spend hours just looking at these porcelains. These are beautiful.
They are. They're very delicate. They're
that perfect word, delicate.
Yes.
Well, let's take a look at the newest donations.
This one is probably our most lively colored piece, as well as one of the larger pieces. And this is a donation from last year.
This is beautiful, and this was donated by Sam and Dee Bowes, who again are very generous folks that have just given and given.
And it's a great piece, and
beautiful.
We actually have probably about 6 or 7 that are large pieces, so they don't fit into the actual Dewald Gallery, which was sponsored by Dr. Ernie Dewald and his wife.
And again, Ernie and Joan are some of the most generous people that have helped this museum so much.
Major museum supporters. We adore them.
So this is the very newest one, and this is beautiful.
Yes, Doves with Apple Blossoms.
Oh.
And this was sponsored by Jack Uffelman for his wife Suzanne's birthday. Anniversary.
That
we unveiled it at a reception that we had last year when we brought in the newest pieces.
That is beautiful.
And unveiled them
very
for the first
touching.
time.
Oh, so this whole area is. Tell us again the name of this area.
Right now we're in the 1898 building.
Right.
It's the original building of the museum, and this is the Ernie and Joan Dewald Beam Gallery.
Loaded with beautiful flowers and birds.
Named after Lucy Dunwoody. The porcelain collection is named after her for her patronage through the Landises. And it's a great place to, when people do sponsor these, they bring their family and friends in periodically when they come to town to visit and show them. And it's kind of
it's a family.
It's a sense
family
of community.
Owner. Wonderful. We are in front of Memory Lane, and we are going to literally walk through Memory Lane.
We are.
And Terry is going to tell us as we go what we're seeing. But this is the permanent collection. It's here anytime you come to the museum. So come with us down Memory Lane. Okay, first thing we see.
We have a great hearse. So pre-car days, this was the hearse that would be pulled by the horses through the funeral procession, and it opens up in the back. And occasionally, if you come in here around Halloween, you might find a little something in there.
I can imagine. So this was used in Clarksville?
Yes.
So is everything in here?
Pretty much everything was
From
donated from the area.
Okay, so the hearse is the first piece, and then I see a lot of red. But what do we have here?
This is a replica of a steam ship that would have gone down the river, and these are actually pictures from the Cumberland, which of course is the river that goes through here, and it was very important in the development of Clarksville and Montgomery County. Not just for tobacco and other crafts going up and down through, but also during the Civil War. And these are just some beautiful paintings done by the late Peg Harville, commemorating.
And so this kind of ties together. I mean, the memory lane that the river has had just an enormous part of our history, helped us develop.
And these are some machinery pieces that would have been used by the firemen.
And we have some pictures.
We have some pictures so you can kind of get an idea of where it was going through. And these, of course, late 1800s to the early 19s.
So these were pulled by horses?
Yes, and you can see there's a little picture actually of this one.
Okay, so this one actually, horse-drawn fire wagon, 1890. And big and red.
Yep.
And this looks like a pump, a water pump?
This would have been your pump, right, that you would have pulled.
And that looks very heavy. Goodness, these fellas, I mean, you can see how they're really having to pull.
It took to pull it.
Gosh, there's 10 of them trying to pull this. And then what do we have here? It looks
like
this
actually is a road grader.
A road grader?
Yes.
This road grader was from the 1870s and would be pulled behind a horse or mule. A road grader. You know, we just don't think about how they kept up
when you
the
see
roads.
all those big trucks and machinery going down the road these days.
This was pretty labor intensive. And so 1890s.
Also within our collection we have many pieces of clothing, and we pull those out with special exhibits once in a while. But this will give you an idea of what the women looked like in the 1800s, late 1800s. This would be a dress that would have been worn.
And that really, the way this memory lane works is things are lined up. This is all kind of 1890s, most everything down here, late 1800s. So you really get a feel for if you lived in Clarksville then. So it's kind of Twilight Zoney.
It is.
So obviously a horse-drawn carriage.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, like I said, you didn't have taxis or cars, so you had buggies to get everywhere if you weren't going by foot.
All right.
And this takes us down into one of our main agricultural crops, which was tobacco. So this is an actual tobacco wagon.
Okay. We can see we've got lots of kids who are really enjoying being here. And I'm glad to see we've got so many kids running around, enjoying and learning. Great. So this is tobacco.
Right, and if you look in the end, you can actually see some of the tobacco in it.
Oh, yes, you can.
So this is the wagon that they would load the barrels on to take them.
And this is a hogshead.
To be weighed, yes.
Very large. Each hogshead could hold between 12 and 1,500 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
And this is amazing that you can see the way you have it, so you can actually see it. And across the street, we have
with the tobacco. This is a video done by the photojournalist David Farmery from Greenbrier, and it features the head family of Montgomery County, and they still tobacco. And the boys all come back in the summer, and they still work the fields. And it just gives a little picture, and they talk a little bit about what they're doing and telling the stories. Because a lot of, these kids don't know about this.
Right. And that's a great way to show the history. And like we said, the name of this show is History and Heritage, and this is our history and it is our heritage.
It is.
So let's go down the street here.
Right, we have, this is kind of where your tobacco warehouse, where it would go to market, and they would grade it.
The Grange House. And was this an actual building that was here in Clarksville?
No, this is just a replica that Randy made based on ones that you would find.
But we didn't
General,
actually.
no,
Okay,
just a
sort of a
right.
idealized.
Yes.
Okay, and what do we have over
And
here?
we have a tobacco shop, which has a little bit of everything that you would find in that tobacco era.
And it does have everything.
It does.
Pipes, cigars, and this was part of our history, a
Yes.
huge piece of it.
Yes, and of course your little totem Indian that you would find
the wooden
outside the
Indian.
shop.
And then as we go down memory lane a little further, out of the tobacco shop,
Right, and now this building we like to change out every once in a while, and this is a great place for us to take things from our collection, and we have over 18,000 things within the museum's permanent collection. And this is a great little area where we can change it out within story themes and display it. So we are going with the dental theme, so these are all things from our collection.
and these were 1800?
Yes,
Now this is amazing.
well, and probably the early 1900s also.
Okay. This is just amazing that you have
And we did this up to tie it in with Black History Month for Dr. Sylvester Jefferson, who was a practicing dentist here in Clarksville. And so a lot of the pieces are actually his
okay.
that we have, and then just some general things that you would have found at that time frame. So again, it shows, especially for the kids, done at kid level, so they can kind of see all these different objects.
And you know, that's kind of an interesting piece. As we are here at the museum, they really make an effort. I mean, you can hear the kids running around in the back, really make an effort for this to be very kid friendly. It's not about just a bunch of old things that are interesting mildly. It's very interactive. Kids get to really learn from this. And I love the way that you keep it low so they see it.
So they get to enjoy it.
And so you said again that this dentist was actually...
Right, so that Dr. Sylvester Jefferson, and he was a practicing African-American dentist here in Clarksville.
And this was in the
Early 1900s.
early 1900s. Okay. And what do we have next door?
We have, of course, the Leaf Chronicle across the street. We have our little printing press. So we actually have the old press.
Now that is an amazing contraption.
Yes.
And contraption comes to mind.
Yes.
That was the printing. How old is that?
Oh my gosh, that is from, I think, the 80s, probably.
So not so old.
1880s.
1880s, really old. Oh my goodness.
And then in here you can see all the trays and the blocks. And
Okay, this is the other piece then, and
Right.
this is all things that came from the Leaf Chronicle. So definitely from Clarksville.
right. So the Leaf
Tennessee's
Chronicle was in 1818. Started.
1818, Tennessee's oldest newspaper. And this is permanently on display.
Yes.
So we have gone down memory lane, and now we're back to,
Back to our carriages.
and this, I mean, I can just see some doctor making their rounds
Yes,
with
and of
this.
course you always had your little drape for when it got chilly to put across your lap.
Right. So this is memory lane, and we're here at the museum, the Customs House, and I think we might have one more thing that you wanted to show us today. This is another part of the permanent display that we have here at the Customs House Museum. And this room looks very sporty, so tell me.
It is. We are in the Challenges and Champions Hall of Fame of sorts, if you will, and it is comprised of information artifacts regarding people who were in the sports professions from Clarksville.
So they're from Clarksville, and of course probably our most famous
would be
Clarksvillian
Wilma
is
Rudolph.
Wilma Rudolph.
Right.
Olympic champion.
Yes.
And you have really done a nice job
Yeah.
of showing.
This was our kickoff. This was the first installation piece, and we have a lot of great artifacts. And Coach Temple, I think he's still alive when we started this. I think he is. And yeah, we've got pictures. Again, it's kind of a big hero story. Someone who from Clarksville who
Right.
went to the Olympics. and had such fame and success.
Great pictures, makes me choke up. And so you actually have the baton?
The baton is on loan.
Okay.
From the Sports Hall of Fame in Georgia.
Okay, but so we do have it.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's on loan from the Georgia
Okay.
Sports Hall of Fame.
And then
And a lot of great pictures. And
these are,
again, we do a lot of the reader reels, be kid friendly, because you always want to be thinking there are people of all different ages, and
Right.
we cater to everybody. So this is just great storytelling on Wilma.
well,
Of course.
she's our most
Yeah.
famous. Tell us somebody else, and Ben Clark over here is
Yes.
sort of one of our newest.
One of our youngest Hall of Fame members here in
Okay, I
Clarksville.
love the way you have done this. I mean, you've really demonstrated him climbing, doing
Right,
what
and that is his climbing gear. And the whole model installation piece was created by Randy Spurgeon, our museum preparator, who did a little stint at Disney, so he can kind of make anything out of a pile of foam. But
This is
yes.
glorious.
So Ben was the second youngest person to climb Mount Everest. That's quite a story
Right.
in itself.
Right. And of course, we know the Clarks.
Right,
Clarksville.
local family.
Right.
And Ben, I believe, currently lives in Colorado Springs.
Okay. This is beautiful.
It is. It's a great piece.
And so, tell us now, Mount Everest is the highest
Yes.
mountain on Earth.
And if you could call it an easy path, there are 2 ways to get up Mount Everest, according to
I don't
Ben.
think there's anything easy, but I know.
Right, and there is the easy trail that most people take, and then Ben climbed the other way on the side that was very difficult, and it took a much longer time, and he had to have the native guides and
Right.
building little enclosures out of snow to sleep in, and that. So, but it was the serious, a serious mountain climber's way to go.
So he is another Clarksville champion.
Yes.
And now we're going to turn around and take a look at another Clarksville champion.
Yes, and this is probably our most popular item in the museum, and this is one of Jeff Purvis's race cars. And what I didn't know until Jeff told us is that they actually make several cars that look alike on the outside, but the insides are all altered depending on what track they're racing on. So
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of the pit crew to kind of educate people about the different people who would work on the team.
And tell
because
us,
it's not just a driver.
Pit crew means these are the folks that
Right.
Change the
As they
tires.
go around, they would gas the car, they would change the tires, of course, everything in record speed, so that they could, keep winning the race.
And so Jeff Purvis donated his
Yes.
car. So we do have a lot of Clarksville champions.
We do.
I love this. And this is on permanent display.
Right. This part is on permanent display, and the Wilma and Ben are permanent displays. And then as you come at different times here, you will find some different pieces that we take in and out. We have some great pieces from Clarksville High.
I saw those from
Right, so we
Clarksville
do
High
some
School.
local features. We have some uniforms and that from Austin P. And we have Mr. Mason's golf equipment
I
too on
saw,
the front.
I did see that. That's wonderful. But so all of this is permanent display. And Terry, if you will just tell us how people can get here, where we're located, how much it costs, what days we're open.
Terrific. We are on the corner of South 2nd and Commerce Street in downtown Clarksville.
And it's the building that you cannot
Right,
miss.
it's the most
one with
ornate
the
building,
gargoyles.
one of the most photographed buildings in the state of Tennessee.
Right.
And we are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5 and Sundays from 1 to 5. And then on Sundays, we also have our volunteers that come run our model trains, which is always a treat. But there are buttons you can push if you come on another day. And the second Saturday of every month, we are free to everybody all day long.
So the second Saturday of every month, the Customs House Museum is free. So there is no reason not to come. This is a great place to bring your family. You could hear the kids in the background. They're having a wonderful time. It's the Customs House Museum where you can learn, you can see history,
A little bit of everything.
art, interactive, and see our champions. This is our history and our heritage.
Have you ever been hungry, worried about where you're going to get your next meal? Loaves and Fishes is an organization feeding the hungry. Primarily through volunteer efforts and donations, we are able to accomplish this mission. Loaves and Fishes provides a midday meal Monday through Saturday year-round. We provide food to agencies helping the needy through our distribution program. If you would like to donate, get involved, or for more information, you can find us on the web at www.loavesandfishestn.org. Please help us with our mission of feeding the hungry.